is up, everybody? You know, we asked you all a question. The questions of 1,000 dreams. No, I'm not gonna continue quoting rock lyrics. Sorry. We asked you a question. I know you're probably seeing a lot of the dust on my steering wheel and stuff like that. But we asked you a question. Who is your most intriguing Tiger for 2023? Who is the guy you just cannot wait to watch? You know, who is the number one Tiger that you just cannot wait to watch go out there and play football? And we have, when we looked through the list of comments, and we got a lot more comments on the site, on Facebook, on our new forum, more so than we did on Twitter, which is really rare. Usually Twitter's the main hub of where we're getting our action, but Facebook, we're participating like crazy lately. Thank you everybody on Facebook who's contributing and who's posting your favorites for 2023. Your guy that you got to see on that football field, and you got to see what he can do, what he's made of. And some people were picking obvious guys. Harold Perkins. Okay. I mean, yeah, of course we want to see Harold Perkins on the field. Duh. I cannot wait to watch him play more football. Duh. But, I mean, it's kind of an easy one. And not only that, but we know what we're getting from Harold Perkins. We know what we're getting from him. There's no, wonder what we're going to get. I wonder what we're going to see. I wonder how he's going to play. We're not going to see that. We already know what he's going to do, what he's capable of, and we know what his level should be at. There's an awful lot of guys I can't say the same for. There's an awful lot of guys that I'm feeling like we aren't 100% sure, where they're going to be. We don't know exactly what they're going to provide for the Tigers. Or, it's somebody maybe who was injured, missed last year, and you just straight up just didn't get a chance to see them. And maybe want that second chance to see what they can do. Or maybe there's someone who transferred to this program and have something to prove, maybe. Some mouths to shut up. Some minds to change, maybe there's something like that. Maybe there's something like that going on. Maybe there's a few guys like that on your list. For us, we feel, and continue to add your comments for your guys. And sorry, we were going to do some shout outs for some people who were posting their people, but didn't get to it in time. Our fault. We should have posted the stuff earlier. We will do a lot more of this. We will make it as interactive as crazy, to the point where your face is literally living inside my mind. That will be how interactive it will be. Our brains will be telepathic. Our brains will mix. It will be nuts. It will be crazy. It will be sexy. It'll be future sexy. But for us, I think you can come up with quite a lengthy list of 2023 guys who could be absolutely dominant for LSU. Maybe it could be hit or miss, but a lot of guys that are just very intriguing upside here for LSU. You got to start with Quincy Wiggins on the list, because I feel like he's not being talked about enough. We didn't see him really outside of a few snaps last year. Yes, he was a true freshman. He did have a broken arm coming into camp from that scooter accident that he had happen to him at the All-America Bowl in Houston. Could have been a fatal accident, really. It was a dangerous scooter accident. He went flipping over. By the grace of God, seriously, he was okay. I actually could walk away from that. It's a stunning. It's crazy because we actually have footage of the accident too. That's what's even crazier. And Quincy, year one, it was always going to be a project, especially when you had B.J. Ojulari, Ali Gay, Savion Jones. The list goes on and on of DEs there who were capable of filling that job, filling that role. And with the change to the jack linebacker scheme, we kind of needed maybe a year for Quincy Wiggins to kind of figure out whether he's going to be more used with that interior 3 or if he's going to be on the outside as a jack linebacker. Obviously, for me, he can do both. I really do believe that. I really do believe he can do both. I think he is that versatile on the line, especially once he's going to add some girth to him. But Quincy Wiggins is someone that's very intriguing to me because he's probably going to be a piece to this defensive line that, once again, you're not talking about too much heading into the season. You're not expecting a lot from heading into the season. But I really think he might be someone who's going to come good for LSU when we need him. I really think this could be one of those seasons where things maybe are a little quiet at first. Maybe there's an injury here or there. Someone's underperforming. Something's going on. He sees a little bit of a gap, and he works his way into the lineup. That's what we could see from Quincy Wiggins. He's good enough. He's athletic enough. I mean, sky's the limit, really, with Quincy Wiggins athletically. And, two guys who transferred who are also, I'm thinking about as being intriguing Tigers for 2023. For me, it's got to be Denver Harris and Aaron Anderson. Both of these guys, Denver Harris at corner, Aaron Anderson at receiver, both coming in at a time when DBU and wide receiver U really needed some star power. Not just some guys who would come in there and be contributors. We needed straight-up stars. Losing, Mekhi Garner, Jay Ward, Jarek Bernard Converse to the draft, those are your two starters from last season. And then Jay Ward, if he wasn't starting at safety or nickel, he was starting at corner. So you lose those three guys. Demarius McGee also leaves. Ray Darius Jones also leaves. We didn't just have to make up depth there, which we did. We needed star power. And I know, Deuce Chestnut is another guy you can put up here, but for me, Denver Harris belongs on this list because he has a lot to prove. Former 5-star, expected to commit to LSU back in 2022, 2021 with his recruitment. Huge LSU ties with his uncle, Mr. Minor. And, everyone expected LSU, Denver Harris, just pencil it in. But then the NIL money came into the picture. Texas A&M came in and swooped him as part of that, greatest of all time, highest ranked class. And he had a fantastically superb freshman season, even while dealing with a lot of attrition, a lot of crap talk his way, a lot of off-field shenanigans that were going on. Some true, some not. I'm just going to tell you right now, they're really not that big of a deal, especially when you take him out of the A&M environment, put him in the LSU environment. It's all good. Denver Harris, he had a really good season out wide covering guys. We went through his numbers. Every snap tallied, every pass breakup tallied right there on our transfers, incoming transfers piece there on the site. You you go into our transfer portal section, you will find all of it right there. We also have it included into our DBU section as well. So, you know, Denver Harris, he could be a starter for LSU this season. We likely need him to be a starter as well. And, you know, he brings that pedigree, that star power that DBU needs desperately. I mean, you might have two guys in your head who are going to start at corner, right? You might think Sevian Banks and then, you know, Deuce Chestnut or one of the other guys. But I really do believe Denver Harris has a spot as a starter on this defense. I have just a lot of good feelings watching his film. Just attacks the football in the air. He does not hesitate. He does not bite. He keeps it all in front of him. Rarely do you see him kind of looking out of control in his technique. And I got to tell you what, I'm really excited for his future. And us getting him from Texas A&M, awesome work from Robert Steeples. Just brilliant closing there. And then you got Aaron Anderson. Another transfer from another SEC West rival. You know, Aaron Anderson back in 2021 was really expected once again to become an LSU Tiger. He was committed. He loved Coach O. But once Coach O was relieved of his duties, Aaron Anderson relieved LSU of his commitment. And, you know, we felt like, wow, we just lost a really good one. And we thought maybe he's going to hurt us playing for Alabama as a freshman. Well, we were wrong about that because Saban didn't even let him take the field. Didn't even let the young man take the field for like more than 10 snaps or something all season. Really, really low quality snap rating, and I don't even think had a target thrown his way all season. So, you know, Aaron Anderson, hungry for playing time, hungry for, you know, college football, actually play college football, which he wasn't allowed to do at Alabama. And he knew he made a mistake. He saw that LSU was in a state of just crazy transition, instability. He didn't know what Brian Kelly was going to bring, kind of like Denver Harris. And they were like, well, we don't know what's going on with LSU, but we know Saban is for sure. We're going to cast our lot with what we know for sure, Alabama, right? Well, I think both of these Louisiana guys, you know, I know Denver Harris played Texas ball, but very much so Louisiana ties. Aaron Anderson, Edna Carr, New Orleans ties, big time. I think even more for him, he had to come back to LSU and rewrite that script. And, you know, he's someone who isn't just capable of, you know, backing up Malik Neighbors as that number 2 guy. He could be a superstar returning the ball. You know, I mean, LSU absolutely needs someone in the return game. Aaron Anderson could be that guy. Love what we've seen from Aaron Anderson's tape. We were big fans of him during his recruitment. Always were hoping this situation could happen. Once he went to Alabama, we were hoping that this situation would come full circle, and it has. And he's an LSU Tiger, and man, does it feel good. We needed him after losing Booty, Besh. It's Dre Jenkins as well. That's 3 of your top receivers gone in an instant. We needed Aaron Anderson. We got him. So we got those 2 5-star guys, star power through the portal. I really like both of these pickups, and I can't wait to see what they provide for LSU. Mason Smith. This is somebody that a few of you posted. Obviously, we want to see Mason back out there. Had the injury just within, 8 plays of the season. The first drive, he was one of the highest rated defenders for LSU in the game. Before that was just wreaking havoc, affecting everything. Looking all world, really. And then celebrating a play, goes down with a ridiculously just harsh, horrible ACL tear. And it's not that he has anything to prove. It's just that, man, this kid was ready to absolutely take college football by storm. Had a 3-sack game as a freshman, sack against Florida as well. And then injuries kind of took away some of his freshman year from him. And this is a young man who's missed now double-digit games to injury in his career, and that's a damn shame from the standpoint of, look at Harold Perkins. Look at what happens if, say, you take this season away from Harold Perkins. All of that contribution, all of those amazing plays. You probably give LSU like 2 more losses taking away Harold Perkins from the team, maybe even 3. So you take away Mason Smith's contributions, potentially you take away LSU being in a college football playoff. That's how big of a player he is. I'm not kidding around saying that. I don't think that's a stretch even to say that LSU could have been in an even stronger position, maybe with just 1-2 losses at the most, with someone like Mason Smith starting for us. But then, with Mason Smith starting, we never find out how good of a player Mekhi Wingo is in 2022 as well. 3rd-team All-American. Unbelievable season from Wingo. But now, with both Mason and Mekhi Wingo coming back off of some injury layoffs, some surgeries as well, I think you're going to see both of those guys kind of double up on the snaps together, kind of share the snap load for a little bit while they kind of partner up with Jacoby and Guillory for the first little bit here. I think that's why you're not seeing someone like Jacoby and Guillory transfer, even though it would make sense for him to transfer. I think you're not seeing him transfer because he understands, hey, there's still some chances to play because of these injuries here. And that's another guy, Jacoby and Guillory. He really could be something special for LSU. We saw him really stuffing things, attacking the quarterback, showing some side-to-side pursuit ability as well. For all of his girth and like just straight up just DT interior cloggage, stuffage, he's actually extremely athletic. And it's really cool to see that, ankle injuries aside, he's finally healthy, contributing to LSU, heading into his 4th season now, Jacoby and Guillory, 4th season. And we'll see what he can really capitalize on this season, because I think it's all there for Jacoby and Guillory, even though you've got Mason Smith and Mekhi Wingo basically penciled in as those 2 DT starters. You know, if you're an LSU fan, it never quite works out the way that we pencil it in, right? The way that we put it on paper. Someone who they could pencil in as a starter for LSU is Omar Speights. Yet another transfer that we got. I think this is just right alongside Denver Harris, Aaron Anderson, a very important transfer. LSU desperately needs linebackers, even still. Even after getting Seth Scott from Parish Episcopalian to walk on, a preferred walk-on. A player who's worth a scholarship. Really damn good talent. drafted Omar Spates after losing Micah Baskerville, and then randomly DeMario Tolan as well. Really, really a promising freshman. Surprising when he left. Greg Penn III almost transferred from the team. Okay, we were able to reel him back in, but there was offers on the table for him to transfer from LSU, Greg Penn III, and luckily we were able to keep him intact. So you're obviously going to have Harold Perkins, Greg Penn III, and then probably Omar Spates as your 3 linebacker starters if you have 3 on the field, correct, right? And Omar Spates kind of being that veteran guy, that veteran presence. And that makes sense to me. And Omar Spates, the last 3 years, he's had 60-plus tackles, 80-plus tackles his last 2 seasons. Playing in the Pac-12, I understand, Oregon State. But he showed out against the best of opponents, and that's what really rings true to me. And, hey, you know what? He doesn't have to be Harold Perkins athletic. Greg Penn III doesn't have to be Harold Perkins athletic. If they can just complement and help unleash Harold Perkins' athleticism with their stability, that's what they just need to do. Read and react. Let Harold Perkins go to town. Omar Spates is someone that I'm very interested in seeing what he can offer LSU. Sage Ryan. Sage Ryan is a player that, just like Aaron Anderson, he could not only help the team on the one phase of the football, he could help the team out being a returner big time. Absolutely one of the best Louisiana high school returners of the last 10 years at LCA. We saw Sage Ryan do some insane things with the football in his hands. Perpetual motion machine. And hopefully we see Sage Ryan really grind out a spot on this defense. Whether that's nickel, safety, or corner. You're probably going to see Greg Brooks Jr. and Major Burns start as safeties. But that's his preferred position. That's Sage's preferred position. But he also has no problem playing nickel or corner. Nickel would be the least favorite, but corner second favorite. So, I just want to see Sage Ryan get a chance to contribute like he did this last season. And, next to Jacoby Stevens, Tyrann Mathieu, and Brady James, he is one of only a handful of Tigers who've had 2 fumble recoveries in the same game. And that's pretty insane. His punch out against Latu in the Alabama game, incredible. I think Sage Ryan was charged with a few touchdowns on Pro Football Focus that were totally not on him. In the Georgia game, there's one right there that was charged to him that was, I saw it right in front of me. It was absolutely not his fault. There was someone who was supposed to switch coverage with him who did not. We've seen that a few times this season. Sage Ryan he's been found out in coverage a few times, like any DB. But he's also made some sick plays, some big-time plays too, like his 4th down batted pass at the goal line against Florida State right before halftime. Kept us in that game. I want to see Sage Ryan get some opportunities. I think he's a guy who could have easily transferred from this team. And he's staying because he believes he has a chance here. He believes he has a chance. And not only does he have a chance, this guy could be all world for LSU. And so could Savion Jones, another defensive end who I think is gearing up for absolute domination in 2023. Savion Jones, I've gotten to speak with his family, with his mom, Seneca, and Savion's been doing a lot of work in the community. He's going to schools, talking to children, I think he is taking that leadership role that you saw B.J. Ojulari take in so easily. I'm not saying that Savion Jones is going to be wearing the number 18 this year. I'm just saying that I think Savion is kind of taking some cues from the path of B.J. Ojulari. And I think with that maturity, with that kind of grace, and with the effectiveness, it seems like every time Savion Jones was on the field, he was doing something. He's creating havoc. At Mississippi State, he barely plays like maybe 10 reps, and he has a strip sack in one of them. He was extremely effective throughout the season, Savion Jones. 3.5 sacks, I believe it was. He's probably going to be a starting defensive end for LSU this season, if all things work out. He's just that talented, and he is one of the most productive Louisiana high school defensive linemen I've ever seen. And you've seen him take that production to the collegiate level when he's been given the chance. And last guy that kind of comes to our head is Armani Goodwin. 5 touchdowns, over 500 yards in just 6 games for Armani Goodwin in 2022. Once again, the injuries got him down. He's continuing to have these ankle and hamstring problems, but when he is healthy, Armani Goodwin is an unstoppable weapon for this team. I absolutely love the way he runs the football. I love how he, the multi-dimensional abilities of him out of the backfield catching the ball, which we barely have scratched the surface on. But when you've seen it, it's been brilliant. Everyone's going to be talking about Josh Williams, John Emery Jr., Noah Cain, Trey Holly, Caleb Jackson, the freshman. Armani Goodwin, someone I really, really excited about. This is going to be a very intriguing team in 2023. There's a lot of high expectations, high stakes, and that's what we want.